Seagrass. Seagrasses are submerged flowering plants that have evolved from terrestrial plants and have become specialized to live in the marine or brackish environment. They have flowers, roots, and specialized cells that transport nutrients within the plant, which makes them similar to land plants and different from algae or seaweeds. Like land plants, seagrasses use sunlight and photosynthesis to make food. Because photosynthesis requires light, they need to be close to the water's surface, and seagrass get nutrients from their roots, which also anchor them to the bottom. Therefore, they are mostly found in protected coastal waters such as bays, lagoons, and estuaries where the water is shallow enough to allow the plant to get both nutrients and the sunlight that they need. Seagrasses are able to tolerate a wide range of climates, located as far north as Alaska and as far south as the equator in the northern hemisphere. They can also withstand temperatures as low as -6 degrees Celsius to those as high as 40.5 degrees Celsius. Besides, seagrasses can grow in salinities that range from fresh water to 42 parts per thousand ppt. Seagrass, found in Laguna Madre and Florida Bay, can even tolerate a salinity of 50 ppt. The most vibrant species, however, are normally found in environments between 10 to 30 ppt. Seagrasses are sometimes labeled ecosystem engineers because they partly create their own habitat. Continuous seagrass beds stabilize coastal sediments, decrease wave energy, and the seagrass roots in the rhizomes can stabilize the seabed. Apart from generating a proper environment, seagrasses also perform a variety of functions within these ecosystems, having both ecological and economic values. In fact, the high level of productivity, structural complexity, and biodiversity in seagrass beds has led some researchers to describe seagrass communities as the marine equivalent of tropical rainforests. Annual production, as measured in grams of carbon per square meter, in seagrass communities rivals or exceeds that of terrestrially cultivated areas. And as habitat, seagrasses offered food, shelter, and essential nursery areas to commercial and recreational fish species, and to the countless invertebrates that are produced within, or migrate to them. Many fish species spend their juvenile stages in the relative safety and protection of seagrasses. Additionally, seagrass rhizomes intermingle to form dense networks of underground runners that can deter predators from digging infaunal prey from the substratum. Seagrass meadows also help dampen the effects of strong currents, providing protection to fish and invertebrates, while also preventing the nutrient-rich silt from washing out to sea. In addition, more than 100 species of algae are known to grow epiphytically on its leaves. To appreciate the ecological importance of seagrass, consider the sudden disappearance of eelgrass beds along the Atlantic coast during the 1930s. An epidemic infestation of the parasite slime fungus called wasting disease literally destroyed the rich eelgrass meadows, the result of which were catastrophic. Populations of cod, shellfish, scallops, and crabs were greatly diminished, and the oyster industry was ruined. There was also a serious decline in overwintering populations of Atlantic brant. As areas formerly covered by dense growths of eelgrass were completely devastated, Beaches, which had been protected from heavy wave action, were now exposed to storms. Besides, without the stabilizing effects of eelgrass rhizomes, silt spread over gravel bottoms used by smelt and other fish for spawning and was washed away, which resulted in a decline in waterfowl populations that fed on the fish. Without the filtering action of eelgrass beds, sewage effluent from rivers caused further water pollution, thus inhibiting the recovery of eelgrass. Despite their importance, seagrasses are in global decline, with some 30,000 kilometers squared, 12,000 square miles, lost during recent decades. The main cause is human disturbance, most notably eutrophication. Excess input of nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, is directly toxic to seagrass. But most importantly, it stimulates the growth of epiphytic and free-floating algae. The massive blooms of algae would reduce water clarity by blocking the amount of sunlight available. Reduction in light levels, as well as depletion of the nutrient supply, then would lead to the death and decomposition of these algal blooms. The process of decomposition further degrades water quality by depleting much of the dissolved oxygen available in the water column, sometimes leading to hypoxic conditions which kill fish.